bruh.
Yeah, where you stay?
I stay Ormond. I'm home. I'm chilling. How you stay?
Chilling like the villain. Buddy, did you see that, what was that? That was like, Willy Wonka air conditioner I made?
The more important question is at what at what point of like savage dehydration or like what fasting, like at what point of the fast did this like premonitional dream come to you? Because I know I feel like, oh, was it because of like 4 days on the pickle juice and then you like learned like the way, like the bodhisattva?
Dude, it was like when the urine wouldn't come anymore, it was like I'm drinking 5 gallons of water and only 2 quarts of like dark tea come out. And I'm going like, I can do this, thinking I can do it. I'm going like ancestral, running out of this cold like Scandinavian. And so then, I go like, I can't fucking do it anymore, dude. It's just hot, man.
Yeah.
And you know when I was dehydrating? Was like when I would sleep in the dehydration box. It's only 104 in the van, and the fans are blowing, so it feels like 98, and you just can't drink enough. Fucking replace the fluid.
Have you ever heard of these I know you're like a big, like, yeah, I know you're not a bumper sticker guy, but if you ever had a bumper sticker, it would probably be Long's Drugstore.
What would it be? Long's Drugstore?
Yeah, if I know you don't like to tag the steel teepee, but if you ever did, it might be like a small sticker that says I'm sponsored by Long's Drugstore.
Fucking A, dude.
And if you go to Long's or any of their competitive island brethren, you might find something that are called hydration multipliers by a company called MCT. Have you ever put any of that stuff? Tried any of that?
Dude, I tanked it. I booted it.
No, I know, but like those are really good though, because I mean I know it's just like a bunch of bullshit, but like it can help you turn like one bottle of water into 3 when you're in those like dire circumstances.
Fucking A, dude, it's hot, man. I don't know how niggers do it out in the heat, man. It's fucking hot, dude. Today, dude, the sun was burning my ears off. I could see little wisps of smoke coming off of my ears while I was doing my laundry.
Yeah, and it's definitely, we're not filming for Pan's Labyrinth 2.
God damn, man, it's fucking hot, and I can't get a handle on it. I'm going like, so why when I wipe my eyes does it feel like sand? You know what I mean? It's like the finest fucking sand coming out of the fucking spittoon in my eye. And it's gonna fucking dehydrate, dude. I can't get enough fucking water in me, man. It's like electrolytes. So then, in the middle of all that fucking chaos came reason.
And it was like put ice in a chest and filter. Why am I sucking hot air? Why am I putting the dragon's breath? Why am I sucking the dragon's breath when I should really dig to the Antarctic? And I should put a pipeline in the Antarctic.
I went over the fucking snowy truck with horses went by. And I went like
Illegal.
Massive snowy river, man.
Doesn't, whatever just went by sounds like I don't have a fucking license plate and I don't care.
Fuck. It was so goddamn fucking hot. like actually started taking a look at this and going like, fucking A, man, the guy's alive still.
Yeah. Well, the crows were starting to circle because they thought it was like, you know that scene in Conan when he's almost dead and the crow, and he's like, and then the one lands on him and then he bites its neck. You know, you need to tap into that, dude. You need to think, like, you need to, like, watch Crumb.
I fucking tapped into that fucking primordial. Well, God damn, it was fucking hot. So then, we did the solution, man. Did you see the water sources come from fucking, Helica?
To 62. Yeah, I saw the watch go to 62. You hear me now?
I don't know, PVC or polystyrene, maybe, I don't know. So the air flows through there, and then you just build a great big, like, a great big mound of ice where it's breathing.
Yeah, that's amazing, right? What a great idea.
Right now, she's rolling 74, and it was 90 outside.
Now, do you, when that gets, like, liquefied, though, what happens?
It was down the street. It looks like there was someone that took the ice machine out of the curb.
But does that fuck up your intake or any of that shit?
No, it was up the doorway like this. It's kind of like a nice prison for the costume. I mean, if I did it right, would it look better? Maybe, I don't know. Would it water this streams out like a freezer? Or you ever see somebody that's like getting bags in the back of a car? You got the AC going, and the evaporator's like dripping underneath the car?
Yeah, no. I'm talking about, I just thought maybe the water as it dilutes would mess up your...
It runs right out. It runs before it messes up the system. The system's going cool and dry, baby.
Right.
Oh. God, you gotta go over and see this before I'm gone. So then I was thinking, like, I was gonna pencil like this for what I use. And Serena says, no, I'm going to insulate it. You're not gonna be there though. And I'm going like, well, like 6 months go a long time. And I was thinking maybe like is it XPS? XPS, extruded polystyrene. Nature huggers don't like it, because they always go like, oh, use wool. But this XPS is hard, it's pink, it's carvable, and it's almost like you could make a surfboard out of it, you know? It's that hard as shit. So I was thinking cutting one of these slabs, and like in my spare time, while I'm not dying, I would like slab it up, man. You know what I mean?
When you sell it to make it more like camper van friendly, insulated like.
And who knows it? Instead of silver, it's just going to be over here like a gem in the island for my children. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, well, Bertana's over here. She could go glampering. And then Jonathan's over here. He's bringing a couple friends from Alpine Vistas.
No, I'm over in Alpine Vistas. I'm more like learning the ways of what my tutors were, because I'm one of the OGs now. Out of everybody who's actually on the payroll, I'm one of the eldest. I have almost, I was officially originally hired in 2009.
You're like Elder Scroll.
Yeah, I have information. I know of shit that like nobody even knows exists anymore, man. Like I have like you said, the Elder Scroll.
The Elder Scroll, and what we call is the Yenavent Archives. But I know they know who you know. I mean,
No. Actually, a lot of people don't know. And that's because so many people are so fresh, and I'm keeping it that way, and I'm okay with that.
So who are you telling me about, Hawaii?
No, there's just nobody at this business has gotten. We're racking in $10 million like every 6 months. It's gotten so big where it's not about like, nobody gives a shit where you're from anymore because everybody thinks it's all about them, and I'm fine with that.
What is it, 1.4 million a month?
Yeah, invoicing, payroll alone is 180,000.
Or just on your end?
No,
Come on, dude.
100. No, payroll is $180,000 for 80 different employees, and I pretend like I don't know any of that, and of course I hear a lot of the inner shit, but the most important point is none of that. This is what matters, is that I'm finding my role is like, so like a couple of the higher ups like Rob and Sean took a couple days off, so like, they're always out doing these like buddy fishing trips, so like I've learned, because like, my old tutor,
Step in and step out.
my old tutor Ben, well, more along this line, my old tutor Ben Streeter, he was always so quick about good commentary and comedy in the workplace, you know what I'm saying? And
It's gonna be fun, or no one's gonna do this. You know what I mean?
yeah, and it's like already within a few days I realized how, gotta get another 10,000 poles, and I just hear everybody, all the water cooler talk is just like very heavy, right? So like I decided, as someone who has the least amount of responsibilities right now in the company, it was like today I saw my edge in that I could bring some comedy and light. So I did like a what did you call it? Photoshop of like, that movie with Brad Pitt, A River Runs Through It, where they do like a bunch of fly fishing, right? So this is like what. Yeah, absolute classic on multiple levels. Females enjoy it, because I think there's some sex scenes in there. Some like raw, like some bareback bratting.
Brad Pitt, who's like ass deep in a couple of Chinese hookers. I mean, who doesn't love that scene?
You know what I'm saying? Exactly, right? And
On a multi-ethnic level, the thing lasts.
dude, I mean, I don't care if you're LGBTQRN would be really all up on this VHS DVD.
He's like chosen the dragon. He's like lesbian. He's like smoking.
Well, Brad can't ever get it straight, but much like a Tottie's son. Oh my god, dude, like he's the best. Remember the scene though, like where he comes and he like catches the fish though? And he's like nipple deep. He's nipple deep down the creek.
He's banging the other guy's wife, isn't he?
Yeah, who wouldn't?
I know, they're so grab-assy.
But no, so I took like that, and I was like, and I like superimposed, like, because it's like Sean and Rob will just disappear from the office, and I know they go on these like fishing trips, so I put like I photoshopped their faces on like the cover of A River Runs Through It with like. I know. It's like, and then I showed that to mom, and she was laughing. But I only showed it to a couple people. Like, I'm like, listen, this isn't like,
Yeah.
this isn't about like we're bad. I'm just like, hey. They're like, because everybody's like, where the fuck, man? Right when we need him, we've got all these polls and all these questions, and Rob's out on vacation. God knows what he's doing, and Sean and all this stuff. And I was like, look, guys, it's a river runs through it. They're out there like, like just casting 10 and 2, and we're like, Pull Foreman.
Remember when the two brothers had a knockdown drag out fight?
I know. I'm gonna start. So this is what I realized today. I was like, dude, there's 85 employees in this company. I know where I'm gonna exist in this. I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna do it right. But I'm gonna make some fucking memes while I'm here.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh my god, because Ben Streeter, he unfortunately got let go because he just had so many things going on, and that's another story for another day. But no, like he'd be sitting there. He's Obi-Wan, dude. He'd be sitting there, and someone would like say something, and then he'd cue up the YouTube, and it'd be like, I've had enough. Like he always had the songs. And he would never hurt anybody's feelings, but he'd just cue it up right, dude, and kept it real, and he was always a great worker. Mitch says he might hire him back. I don't know. That's between them. But I saw that role today, and I was like, dude, oh my god, I've got to be the meme maker. I got to be making a little comedy out of this drama, because if not, people are going to start getting too fucking fluster busted over this little stuff. Like, yeah, and I'm having fun with it, and the demand is very low on me, and obviously that's why I get to have this. Dude, exactly. Like Leo DiCaprio's character, just come in and then Matthew McConaughey. I saw one the other day that was like Matthew McConaughey's character in there, and it was like small business owners during like the 2022 like quarter four, and it said something like, it's that line where he goes, is that line where he's like, listen, Sonny, we just crunched these numbers and that ain't gonna fly.
How about that fucking movie I made you watch? Fucking True Detective with him and Woody Harrelson.
How many beers was it? He said Lone Star, no Stooty shit.
Hey, nothing to do. What a great movie, huh?
A movie? Wasn't a goddamn.
So, hey, they still got them files sealed. They didn't even let you guys know, huh?
No, he's like, he goes like this, and they start prying him more and more and more. He's like, well, listen, if you want the whole goddamn fucking thing, he like reaches in his back pocket, and he like throws a $10 bill out on the table, and he's like, that should be enough to get like 4-pack some. And then he's like, what's that for? And he's like, oh, he goes on the whole monologue about how like today's like my drinking day. Because it's past noon. It's past noon.
He blows it at him.
He says it's past noon. And it's whatever day it is. And it's my day off. It was like a Tuesday. By the way, it wasn't a weekend. He said like, it's Tuesday and it's my day off. Not like a typical, like a Saturday or a Sunday. Like, no, like this is like, hey, it's my fucking Tuesday. This is my day off. And it's noon. And I'd be drunk by then.
Fucking Captain America, fucking Marty here, man. That's like out of fucking nom, man.
fucking something heavy caliber, dude, starts hitting us. High repetition, heavy caliber. Bop, 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 bop. Fucking dirt spitting up. My dad, dude, story like story out of Nam, like my dad used to tell me.
It's time, soldier.
Captain America, Mark.
You know what I mean?
Wait, like you mean like? Do you mean like in as far as the actual plot? Did I?
Yeah, the actual story was Marty fucking lost it, man, but he made it like Captain America, you know?
I mean, well, Marty blew the fucking dude's head off, didn't he?
They didn't know what to do.
Right, like tactically, yes, correct, yeah, like. No. Matthew McConaughey's character rolled in there, was ducking and diving and rolling, making calls. Actually, all under the influence of the night before, just being like fucking 9 sheets to the wind, snorting like God knows.
And the ninth ward, man, was fucking Rudy.
God knows what the fuck they were making it snort. Jesus Christ. Dust and fucking sneeze and booth and fucking ass and nothing else. Yeah, well, you gotta ride. That's how you gotta ride, right? And that's also like if he didn't roll like that, that's like their whole like you're not one of us. So.
Dude, did you see where he was shooting fucking cayenne pepper and fucking ink in his arm to make it look like he'd been using?
So it gave him like looked like they were track marks.
Oh, damn, dude, that was a heavy show, huh?
Yeah, that was a real eye opener for what you really have to put yourself through. I give a hats off to all those like really in depth fucking undercover agents and all that shit. Oh, dude, I wanted to tell you one thing. I just remembered 2 things. One thing was I know we've been talking a lot about stator fluid and the company that makes the company that makes a brand of, well, wait. A company that makes a brand of, it's the company here in South Florida called Armadillos. The guy that does his own Kevlar blend of tire lube inflatant, he now just came out with a thing called Armor Chillos, which is his own stator blend.
So it's Ferro Lube, like, here's where you see Ferro Lube, you see it like on, like sound, you know what I mean? Sound waves, very, remember that one movie with like, I'm thinking kind of like, Tom Cruise and that other chick, and they're like on a planet, but there's this like Ferro Loop shit where, you know, when the speakers go, it makes these like little darts come out, you know what I mean?
Oh, dude, that's not even a lube. You know, that's actually sand on a fucking vibrating disc. Well, sometimes it's lube that has metallic particles in it too, but that's like a fucking.
The Ferro Loop is ceramic covered magnetic micropellets.
Yeah.
It doesn't conduct electricity. But what it does do is follow magnetic. You know what I mean? It follows that magnetic sphere around that hub. And it fills the air gap with a medium that transfers heat. Right?
Right.
Does it make sense?
To me, it makes sense of just like why you'd even want to put like, you know, in a tubeless tire, the tire inflate, because necessarily, you know, you're going to remove negative airspace there that would technically have to be just filled up with air, you can actually run lower PSIs but achieve, you know, similar feelings, and at the same time you're getting the benefit of, like, you know, resistance to punctures. So there's more positives than there is negatives.
Like when he filled up the tire, did he fill the tire with a puncture liquid, or is it totally full of liquid?
Actually, the blend he does has Kevlar in it. So it's a liquid, but then it also has physical pieces of, like, light duty, which I'm assuming Kevlar has, like, a weight, like, system of how you buy it. Like, it's obviously not going to stop a bullet, but he was, like, showing these light, fluffy, almost like insulated chunks, like cotton Kevlar.
Fiber. Yeah. And because that's what Kevlar is what you need, that Kevlar fishing line.
Yeah, it's a fiber, but this has just been pulled to that, like, cotton candy texture. And he's taken that and he puts that and then some other fucking shit, and that's actually what helps when that is activated with the liquid and the air and the chemical and all those things. It actually will help stop a puncture. And I thought to myself, wow, that's, you know, everybody complains about the price, but I'm like, dude, he's actually putting Kevlar in it. It probably is probably what it costs is what it's realistically. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to say, was that, you know, I haven't seen anybody, like, not even fucking Craft and Ride makes their own statter lube, but then here this guy, which this guy's all like military grade. You can tell by the cut of his jib, and then it's like Armor Chillos, and I was like, oh my god, there he goes, statter lube. Just when me and Dad were talking about it.
He's put that in the hog, and first in the hog, and what's his sales pitch?
I haven't seen the sales pitch yet. I'm sure the video's coming soon. All I've seen is the first couple tubes starting to be distributed. You know, obviously a little backwards on that. He needed to probably have a good promotional video out first, would have been better, but hey, I'm not his fucking marketing guy.
Oh yeah, you can't fix stupid.
I'm just saying, yeah, no, so this is what's coming. I was sharing it with you because I was like, yo, isn't that funny? Because we're always on this shit, like, right the same level when everybody else is.
We're 6 months ahead of everybody else, I swear to God.
No, I know. But, like, it's just, you know, at the end of the day, you know, more money, more problems. It's not about get rich quick. It's really just about being aware and, like, tapping into the now. And
It's this awareness that other people have no idea.
so when other people come up, because I told Mitch, I'm like, dude, I'm going to go the full, well, however long. Look, I'm committing to an electric vehicle. And he gets so, when I say that shit, and I'm like, I'm not using gas for going to the office. He gets so hyped up. He's like, and I want to make everybody else on that shit too. And I'm like, well, that's hard. But how could we? What are? And it's like we talk about that, and we get real excited about it, man. You know.
Dude, I'm all about free bulk electricity. I've put down 10 kilowatts since treated this one.
Oh, and here's the other thing. So the statter lube was the one thing I remembered to tell you about, and then the other one was that I finally got my bigger battery from Chai for my one wheel, and I put that needed an appropriate firmware to be able to run in the first place. Put that in, installed that the other day.
How'd it go?
It had to, you know, first of all, it didn't fit in the original battery housing, so, and there was no way. I knew that was coming, and they've just gotten lazier with their fucking battery wraps, because they're literally just 18650s and fucking tape. So I was like, well, listen, the biggest thing that needs to not get shorted out is, like, the PCM and the fucking balance connector and this, like, control board. So I actually took off the battery cover that stockly comes, and I removed, like, there's like some foam and some other like insulating factors. I put that back, taped that down, and basically kind of like just waterproofed the pack. I'm like, you know what? This is now just the commuter board. This gets, 50 miles to a range. We're not riding this like off road. We're riding this on,
the commuter.
it's the commuter, and I do know the resilience of those parts. And over the 2,300 miles that I put on that one board, salt water, full wet rides, what was the thing that failed on me? Nothing that corroded or was salt watered. It was the fucking hall sensor of the motor because of overheating. And guess what? Stator lube. And you told me that all along. Put stator lube, dude. And you know what? If I would have, probably at about 2,000 miles, I probably would have gotten another 1,000 miles out of that motor. You know?
When you look at the way that dissipates heat, it's like a 5-to-1 ratio. So you got 2,000 miles, you could have gotten 10,000 miles.
Well, I'm thinking, and now a lot of these facts haven't been shared with the community because there's the progression barrier threshold secrecy thing, right? Everybody is keeping the secret because they don't want to let the dog out of because there's a lot of racing, and this is all formulated around the very heightened progression of the sport. But yeah, I think those guys that were doing those downhills and getting those faster times, they had to have had stator lube in their shit because most guys were getting overheating. And that's not because a sensor is over calibrated.
Where overheating really shows itself is on a hill pull.
Down or up.
Because, no,
Fight your way out. You return
it's
to the
because
front
you're
line.
lower
Lose,
RPM.
and you're finished.
You're burning more amps.
Soldier.
The wheels not operating at efficiency. So where stator lube is always climbing, and it's doing cool.
No, I totally agree. I guess I was getting confused because, what guys were doing at the top of the hill, why I said downs, was guys were charging at the top of the hill and then on the descent being overcharged. So, I'm sorry, not overcurrenting, though. No, the overcurrenting issue comes from overheating. It's kind of like this, they're kind of like the same warning thing, but, no, so anyway, I got the new battery in there, and so I did a couple miles on it. Actually, did a lot of miles. I rode it to work today, and then I rode it back, and then I was like, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get home, I'll open up the board again and see, like, what dirt and debris has encased into that area. And it was actually very, very minimal, and, like, kind of the job I had done was good. So I was like, okay, I can just see where, like, maybe a little bit more, like, some waterproofing and some taping and some fucking epoxy and, like, whatever. Maybe I can make my own little custom battery case, which is actually what should be done when you do the battery change anyway, because the pack itself is just different. There's 4 extra cells. It's angular different. So squeezing like this aluminum top onto it was just impossible without either damaging the battery or just like fucking something else. So I did something a little out of the box, and I, obviously did some tests. I did 25 test miles today, so, nothing's shorting out, and it's not a basher board, but what it is like, it's just, they're getting lazier with these batteries. And they're getting worse with their fucking customer service, because this one was the longest one that's ever taken. So I'm not even gonna like go down the line of calling or talking.
I tell you, they probably already sold the company to somebody else.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Yeah, I know, and that's what the one wheel in general. This is the point. Like let's be real. Mass commuting on a one wheel, not realistic, not real, not fucking like that. Mass commuting on an e-bike, absolutely.
That was always a special little niche of society. society.
Yeah, it's a fun, dude. It's so cool, man. It is the coolest electric skateboard. Other than that, it has. But guess what? Do you skate to work? Nobody does. Not even the world's best skateboarder, Tony Hawk. I would give him. He's never ridden a Sector 9 to work, guaranteed. So people who commute, people exactly, and that's a whole nother story. No, people who commute to work, I ask them this question: well, have you ever ridden a skateboard to work? No, no. I typically ride a bicycle. Well, there you go. So you don't ride a skateboard is not what you commute with. But you know what? If it's a short enough distance, and if you want to liven up, if you want to be engaged with your ride, yeah, it's fun. It's cool. It's awesome. But best thing we ever did was open up the company and the mindset to like e-bikes, other different vehicles, because no, it wasn't going to just be limited to just goddamn one wheel. So I see a lot of these guys around here. They're like, yeah, I have a one wheel repair company and I'm struggling. I'm like, yeah, because you're a one wheel repair company. Who the fuck cares about that? Like, you got to open it up. And then I go all the way up to Wittswheel, and I was all feeling bad about myself. Like, damn, dude, he might be doing really good. And then guess what he tells me? He tells me that he is signed a contract that he is never allowed to ever work on an e-bike because of his location. And I'm like, holy shit. So, like, look at the situations you get yourself in. Holy fuck. I would have never signed that contract, dude. I would have still worked out of my garage telling me what I can and cannot work on. Fuck that. You know? Yeah, man. You know what? And I went in there and I paid what I paid for the board because I was supporting his business. You know what I'm saying? And he had cheap boards for sale. I don't know where I can get used XRs with good firmware, taken care of, proper. He gave me a great deal for that. But yeah, man, no, he can't work on e-bikes. He told me, I was like, yeah, you've got a Super 73 here. He's like, oh, that's just my personal ride. I can't sell that. I can't work on them. I was like, why is that? He signed a contract. I said, wow, man, that's pretty radical in a world where this is all still gray area. Like, he's like, yeah, it's a little, I don't know, and all this. So I could tell how upset that made him. And yeah, I just thought to myself, this is why you get in these situations. You learn, you talk, you communicate. Like, no need to go sell bikes for Peddleton, and get into some serious, like, consumer contract. And the next thing you know, Peloton or what? Yeah, Peloton, thank you. Peloton, and then they find out that you work with one wheel and you lose everything because of contract infringement. Over bureaucracy and over paperwork and
it's like the black beer. It's like beer.
Yeah. So I thought that was very funny because when he said that, though, I really smirked hard because I was like, wow. So that means you really are just the one wheel guy. You can't do that. Like, that could go down on you. So that's why I really liked opening it up to all these different hub motors and playing around with this stuff. And oh man, well, besides Sandy Point, which give it to them, they've always deserved their little spot. Yeah, they've deserved their spot. They've got foils. They're gonna have the top of the line when it comes to water sports, and they've got a couple foils in there. They've got things, but is foiling here yet? I mean, man, that is some radical. There's a couple of things that come up with this whole e stuff and e-foil, e-boards, all this shit we're talking about. There is an odd, like, safety thing that isn't being talked about. Like, these are very expensive items, and they're also very dangerous items. They're boats. Most of them have to be registered as marine vessels. Am I right? So why? I mean, I know we get a little enamored with social media, and it's like, wow, you know, we saw the awesome pictures of the guy foiling and the dolphins jumping and all this, and it's, I guess that's why.
Move to the next area. Protect the perimeter.
Well, he's probably dead. I mean, I did.
Yeah,
Did I?
no, I showed you his head was all fucking sticked up. Like fucking Edward Scissorhands.
Well, even the pros of the sport, right? Kai Lenny, you know, he's not throwing any peace signs anymore.
He's got like this permanent, like, belly.
Yeah, man. You know, you just got to think about the longevity of it. I mean, even skateboarding, you know, I never really pushed myself really hard with skateboarding, but like some well, yeah, you know, I definitely wanted to achieve some certain tricks because I wanted to know what they felt like. That was more like personal drive, but like, you know, you talk to young kids and they're like, I want to be a pro skater, and I was like, dude, do you even know what the have you even Googled what the paycheck of that would even be? And how you're not gonna have any like fucking life insurance or any fucking anything? No, and famous musician is really cool, but then like when I get about 50, I had a fucking Instagram reel blow up the other day, got like fucking couple like 400 or 500 likes. And I had to turn my phone like to silent mode because I'm like, dude, I can't handle all this fucking.
What was that for, man? Where'd you get the 500 likes for?
Oh, I put on like some. I've been doing these like more like I take these sound bites of those. Like the one I did that was the one that got a lot of likes was the one where I'm at the beach and it's like you don't have to fucking create content. Your life is just fucking going around and being content. And that's somebody else's audio, right? And that put me into the spiel of like other people that have used that audio, so that's why that got a lot. But like no, like just even superimpose that upon like billions or millions or thousands or whatever. I would hate to have 1,000 people asking me like, you know, what I ate today, what I did today. I barely like asking, you know. Yeah, or whatever, you know. Even if it's good shit, like how big's your dick, or like all the fucking anything you would want to be asked. You know what? You get asked a million times. Nobody fucking cares. I don't care. You know. I'm just like, ugh. Well, that's why I'm gonna try to bring some love and some happiness into that office building. Like they're all so focused on their shit. Oh yeah, I'm in a good place, and I'm obviously like within respect. Like I'm not gonna fuck around and like disrespect anybody. But like, no, dude, I one of my favorite guys I ever worked with, and Mitch will always. He said that even tonight. He was like, one of the best guys who ever worked was Ben Streeter, and his energy and his it gets me. Well, he was a golfer, but Ben more like he's not that much older than me. He's only 2 years older than me. And he's more like an older brother, and then in the scene of like the Mitch world, like he's just kind of like, you know, he's been there. He was there a while doing lots of engineering and different stuff, and came from cable. But nah, Ben was just like we bowled a lot together. We did golf a lot together, and yeah, no, Ben though he was always that guy in the office would just keep the energy real a lot like you had a really funny and a really quick humor and could quote things, and even if people didn't know it he'd be like, oh, you don't, well, he didn't even, yeah, like he didn't care, like if you didn't know it he'd just be like, oh, you don't know that shit, and he'd just pull up a fucking YouTube clip real quick and be like, he'd just start slamming on his keyboard, and then he'd have it pulled up and you'd be like, you know, because he knew, you know, shows and movies and references and music and all that stuff. and he could
he could connect stuff together and make it funny, man.
and he could also be the same guy that would have music playing in his ear, but would carry a conversation on with you and answer your question and give you like
he could tune it all in.
give you the full undivided attention, you know.
Dude, what was that song that I turned you on to though? I sent it to you.
Oh, I got a lot of emails. Hang on.
It was like I was breaking it down for those fucking pirates out there on their one-wheel boat. Bobby Gentry.
Yeah, I would have never remembered that. I was looking through my emails. I would have never remembered that name.
Bobby Gentry.
Take this time to ready up.
Well, my official training day is Monday, but tomorrow, Friday tomorrow, today, last day of just kind of like probably getting it easy, so I'm gonna soak it in and just hang out and like I said, man, I have other things to share around the office and stuff, so I got that
Training's over.
How's your health?
You've learned.
my health.
Yeah, how you feeling?
I feel good, man. Trust me, not too many people can like one wheel to work.
That's gotta give you some pretty good respect right off the bat, man. You know what I mean?
Most people don't even ask me about it, but I know they see me rolling in there, and I know it's coming. But I just like, I think it's now. It's been funny because for a while, it was weird at first. Like, you know, a couple years ago when I first had it, all eyes on me was a lot. It's a lot, you know. And it can kind of twist in a weird way against you. Like, you can think like people are thinking maybe bad about you, you know, like look at that fag, look at that faggot, like fucking what a weak what a lazy person, right? That shit like that.
You can't do that, man, because everything you do is like, it's cutting in. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I know I was just being like, that's one side of the coin, right? And then you got to flip that coin on that opposite side and go, well, what would be the complete opposite of like, this guy's a fag, this guy's a loser? Would be like, damn, dude, like, ain't that shit fucking cool? Like,
I used to ride that 16-foot kayak out of Pontville with all like the pros in the nose.
oh yeah, with everybody probably fucking talking all that same shit, just like looking to their buddy nodding and going, who this fucking guy fucking think he
You
is?
gonna cut me off? With this 16-foot fucking hard on?
Get under this bad boy. I'll tell you what, dude. There's no like pushing my nose out of the way.
Man. And back in those days, we could finish this out on a beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, different times, right? I know.
I know, fucking rednecks. Beware.
Oh, we definitely chased a few guys out of the water in our time.
Oh, dude, remember fucking Sea-Hag?
Sea Hag, and then there was another dude who like just was like really out of it, like just kind of just a kook or whatever.
He
And
ran and the police came.
yeah, and I remember you just being like, dude, you just don't fucking take off on my son like that, you know? Like, he's young, he's learning it, we're out here, you don't fucking know shit, don't drop in on the line.
Headed your way.
He ran to the beach, man. He knew he was fucking bad at it.
I remember this one time I was alone. All that then went into me like mid-teenage years, like being alone one year at Ponce Inlet. Either you were out on the road or whatever, you know. And
Oh,
But I remember I went out, Mom had driven me to Ponce, or maybe it was the first, I really can't remember. It was such one of those days, like either it was one of the days I had driven myself or whatever, but I remember this guy like pulled my leash at Ponce, and I remember like going in and like fucking taking the leash off and throwing it on the beach and going back out and paddling right next to the guy, right? Which is pretty ballsy. And being like, listen, man, and then I showed him my foot and I'm like, look, I took my leash off, so you won't be able to do that again. So I'll be right here though. And then he didn't do anything like after that, you know? It was like kind of like, it's weird how you gotta like do those little like almost like mating, almost animalistic fucking like throat display lizard fucking call.
Yeah, you fucking iguana, man.
You know, you just gotta like show your colors, and it's like everybody's out there, and I never really like to join in that vibe, but you have to, as a man, unfortunately, you have to be able to do that, because if you don't do that, then you might not make it at all, you know?
There's a hierarchy, man, and it's, pecking order or fucking, we used to have those, we would always have fun, man. It's like,
Oh yeah, I love it. Dude, you know what? Even after all that drama, still having fun, but I don't think we were ever the people looking for the drama.
and it's like, all eyes on me, you know what I mean? And then,
Well, it was like, dude, it was like the other day, like fucking Tommy Groms, dude. Like he calls himself the regulator of Ponce now. Like this is like social media, right? Like this is before, we're talking like days before social media. Now social media's influence. This guy's like that prominent, right? And I went out the other day and I saw him and I was like, oh shit, there's Tommy, right? And I took off deep first peak, and he fucking took off in front of me, and then and tried to lock it down. And dude, I did not fucking fail, and I didn't go after him, but I just like stayed on the wave, like, hey, we can double this, like we're chilling, like we're doing good, like that. And then he like looked back at me, and I've been rocking this kind of like fucking like mohawk thing, like shaved my sides, my head, like just kind of like, who gives a fuck right now anyway. And he like looked me, I caught him, he looked me up and down, and he kind of like did like a spray upturn off and off the way, right? But he gave me the wave, and I just stood my ground, and like, but I didn't like challenge him, I just stood my ground, you know, and
that's like another fight, but I mean, we can do this on the air. Hey, that's my game.
yeah, like, dude, I would have done some sick doubles, bro. Like, no offense, but I mean, but what was funny was that he later was talking all this shit, like motherfucking inbreds out here, goddamn rats sucking their mother's titties out here, fucking don't even know how to goddamn surf, just doing like a whole toddy thing, right? And I'm just still, and I paddled right back to my spot, dude, just like, I locked down first peak, like I do not give that wave away. And he's right there, and he's like, motherfucking inbreds and this shit, and I'm thinking, you know, he's trying to like kind of judge some of that shit my way, right? And then I was just like, you know, I thought to myself though, yeah, man, but you know, you gave me that wave, so whatever, dude. If I was such an inbred, dude, you didn't have to give me that wave. But we never really get in each other's way, and he's a big energy in the water, so I'm gonna give him a lot of room to play.
Like this, man, I'm born here, man, not born here.
Oh, dude, they can't handle that.
Born and raised, man, born and raised. Dude, I've played every level of the fucking skinhead game.
I know. That the funniest thing is, in my head, like, I have to start telling myself, like, man, I can't believe this guy thinks he's so cool when no one, like, what tour did you win? what championship are you reigning? Like local only. It's all in their minds,
I
and
would
it's
post
like
pictures in his car, dude. I would post pictures in his car. Hey, what's Tommy driving, man?
oh, he drives like a beat you know what it is, like a beat up Kia Sedona, has to ride him with other guys, but no, he is the regulator. um you know, he's prime, he's 35. I mean, well, he's my age, he's my peer, he's my age, he's it's us up to us 30-year-olds now to be regulating the shit. And it's like Shea Lopez, you know, he's 40 something now, you know, he's got kids. He's just on the beach filming now, right? But he used to be that guy. He's just filming his kids. He's filming his kids, and then I mean, I don't surf unless it's fucking chest high anyway. Most of the time anymore, like paddle surf, that is. And then the electric vehicles are just like my absolute bread and butter. I just love that it's a ride and a commute. And
What fun we had when you were over here, though, when we surfed. Do you remember when we were all out at fucking, the, not the inlet, what was the harbor? We were at the harbor. We're like, late breaking. You, Benjamin, me, I was out there, and I like went way over on the side. And I caught this whole wave going over.
Enemy soldier nearby. Use this time to train a bit. We're deploying soon. Enough training. Now you fight a real enemy.
no, not because I don't hate that guy because he's not a good surfer or anything. I just hate that guy.
Gas is approaching your position. Get to the safe zone. Heads up, lads.
No, I
Drop
know.
inbound.
He's a great surfer. He's getting it in late in his career. I've surfed a lot of waves. I got it in early, dude. You know, I was surfing when I was a young boy. A lot of these guys get on it early. Yeah, I've caught a lot of waves, man. That's why I don't fuck around with like I gotta go surfing. It's 2 foot, 3 foot. Fuck that. Okay.
And the thing is, I'm about to like to hang out with Trina's family. Don't they make you feel welcome?
Yeah.
Hunt the enemy before they hunt you.
Yeah, I'll try to say that with a straight face.
Dude, his stealth fucking camper's getting 42 miles a gallon.
Not enough. I'd turbo it. Quad turbo.
Man, it's fucking hybrid. Nobody turbo rides.
Yeah, they do. You can turbo that to get even more. You could high spool. You could like high spool, low spool for the highway. So like when it gets around like 65, it starts whirring like a small little turbine, right? Because it's V6, right? Well, they turbo fours anyway. So you start like, and then put like a cold air intake on it, and start like breathing in like ice cold air, kind of like what you're doing with your box, right? So no, because I had a friend of mine who would turbo his car for efficiency, not for like horsepower and all that. Because there's obviously the tuning for high spooling and high octane and fucking high pressure but with force. And that's what they do with fucking semi trucks. I mean, the Cummins diesels, those are typically twin turboed, aren't they?
Twins and single. Twin or single, but the main thing is they've got to force more air than that thing burning. You know what I mean? It's like air steeper than gas.
Exactly. It's like, you know. Pressurized.
So it's pressurized, it's cold, and it's
So that's what I'm thinking. Like, what if you took that Sedona and went for my Sedona, went for like that pressurized, like we're talking about, like, and again, not to, you know, but to something that would create more efficiency, so the engine isn't having to cool it. Well, water ethanol injection.
It's got more expansion because with the moisture in it, but that has to be behind that stuff. But you don't want to run that.
Yeah, no, that's they do that again, man. This was all like bolt-on shit this guy did to this fucking VW Golf GTI, and I'm thinking if they can do it to a Golf GTI, they can do it to just about to anything, you know. It's got to be post the sensors, then you mean. Well, it goes into you got to actually install those into the fucking like intake manifold. It just creates a fucking like a steam engine. That's what Devin used to say. It was like steam cleaning his car. It helped him not only run more efficiently, but helped keep the engine cleaner.
Keep the engine clean. It also creates pressure because think about it, a couple of drops of water in a fire situation creates steam, and steam is the ultimate engine, right?
Yeah, and he only boosted his shit because, again, 4-cylinder, small block, shouldn't be pushed beyond its pressures that much. He boosted that 7 or 8 pounds, and then technically it was like a 10 or 12 pound boost on the engine because of the water methanol, the wastegate, which was an extra way that it could relieve that pressure in a very fast way if it built up. keeping it very regulated. Yeah, yeah, and it made a really cool noise too. It was like. So he'd rev up and it'd be like, his engine had, you know, because then not only did you have that intake, but then he had the exhaust as well. So it was like. Doing all these really, really cool, and man, I've heard some really cool ones over the years being in Daytona. There was this one guy had this wastegate that it literally sounded like metal. Like it sounded like Optimus Prime like transforming. It was like it was so mechanical, like. But yeah, most of those turbo cars will have you know, a wastegate, or some of them have one that dumps back into it. Breathing, right? Yeah, I actually bragged about you. I sent that photo to my friends and my Snapchat group, and I was like, look at my dad, look how smart he is. Not only does he cool his beers, but it's like if I ain't seen that on that, I'd like to see that goddamn red green motherfucker do that with some duct tape. No, that's a line from Trailer Park Boys. Bubbles is all like, check that fucking thing out right there. I'd like to see that red green cocksucker do that with duct tape and shit. Well, you remember the show on PBS called The Red and Green Show? And it was like these fucking, the one nerdy dude and the one fucking old dude. It's so fucking dumb, dude. It doesn't even make any sense, that show. So fucking dumb. But yeah, that red green, that I love that. Bubbles is like, I'd like to see that red green cocksucker come up with something like this. Basically bragging. But they're Canadian too. They're Canadian too, so. Okay, so here's my new Chai battery. Topped off is 62.25 volts, my friend. The baseline is 43.5. So I basically get 28% more battery capacity. Maybe 32% if you do your math right. No, I can hear Moana in the background. Moana? It gives you something to do. Some people in these days start a small, like a small garden or like a basil plant. Tend to small, perhaps rare leopard gecko. They're spotted. They have fat purple tails. They're pretty cool. Yeah. Well, they probably don't have like any pet stores. I forgot they don't have pet stores on the island. No, you know what you would do well with would be like, I was gonna say, not yeah. The group ride, yeah, I saw the group ride. Pride Month. Only fags I know that own e-bikes are fucking gay homosexual doctors. Yeah, we got the money and we've got the fucking ingenuity and we've got the cure for whatever you shake down. Goddamn shake down the street. What?
Fucking cinnamon elbow.
Oh. The moist maker.
I haven't seen those for years.
No, you know what I missed was something we used to chew on in Kingdom Hall was
Dermatitis?
no, it was like the Dragon Red Hots. They were called like Dragon's Breath. And they came in like a very like tin, like a the similar tin that you would put like either snuff or like some sort of like Asian peyote, some black market fucking dram or boo.
Oh, yeah, this little thingy like blue.
My daddy likes dram, but I prefer the boo.
Do you remember that, Freddy? Yeah.
I still have Fat Freddy's comics on my desktop.
Well, dude, if you're gonna do this, that great cat, he just got by his man possessor, right? The man possessor, something like this. He was this sort of like this genetic type thing where he could keep like mutating cats and shit. So that's why he thinks that he's gonna get the award and get the bang like all these cats breeding things. And then the guy gets these rhinoceros hide gloves. He grabs the cat and says the way we're gonna do it is through not with genetics and not genetic manipulation, but by grafting. Fire, fangs, and like his like couldn't eat shit from that fucking doctor. And then it shows this phenomenon.
Hang on. I have. Fat Freddy's Comics and Stories #2. When you awaken, you will not remember. Will not remember.
Where freewheeling Franklin informs with his pig.
Hang on, I'm trying to. I'm gonna have to forward these to my work email so I can Hang on. I know it was one of these when you sent me. Hang on.
I say everyone after the phone. It's so wild that you can find that shit, man.
Well, you know, this is like very like Galay for like mad and
I was on the bad lineup, right? It was too anti-culture for mad, you know what I mean? It cuts out all the weird shit. How about the one where they're all going like, let's all get done and run naked?
Fire the airstrike.
yeah, that was the one I was trying to find.
And they're like dancing on the
That was the one I was trying to find, and I was also trying to find the one that was this kitty like drowned, this kitty like bird.